Welcome back, guys, you freedom-loving firearm maniacs. Today we're going to be talking about the Midwest Industries Lightweight M-lok series, one-piece, 15-inch full-float handguard.
He totally cheated, man. He was reading the backside.
I was. I totally was. And this is a one-take deal, so fuck it.
And we are going to show you how to install it.
And tell you what we think about it.
Yep. Let's start.
First, let's start by taking out the package.
Oh.
It's a 15-inch, like we said, full-float deal. Inside, tell them what you got inside.
Inside we've got some Loctite. Looks like some 680 thread locker. That would be a Loctite brand, for those of you who don't know. And a small section of rail.
This is an M-lok rail, so I'm going to bring it to the camera so you guys can actually check this thing out.
Now this thing is
really cool.
Freaking light.
And we're going to wait for you, but if you see, it's got M-lok capability across the side, the bottom, and the top, and it's only got rail in the back and the very front because they're going for lightweight. It's got quick detach on both sides, in the front and the rear, and with the M-lok on the bottom, you can put, if you want, a a handle or a stop, or it's also got another attachment point there. So they've pretty much drilled everywhere and removed material everywhere. They got all these little ribbings cut down the sides too that give you, a nice purchase on. But I mean, this thing's light, and I've got the barrel nut in there now, and that it's a long barrel nut, and it's got what do you call that?
I call it cross hatching.
Cross hatching.
Yeah, it's like a knurl.
Knurl. It's like a knurl.
It's a knurl finish.
So that gives it a good bite here, and you can see the tangs on the barrel nut will line up with your gas tube, and then that also helps line up with your little tangs on the handguard itself. So let's do the install and show you how that's done.
Okay, so we're going to just show you what it weighs real quick. You want to zoom that in. This is just the rail. We're going to come in at
7.8 ounces.
We're going to add the barrel nut.
9.4 ounces.
And the little section of rail, in case you want to add that on.
9.9 ounces, and then the 2 mounting screws, just for good measure. 10.1 ounces total. For a full float 15-inch handguard, that is pretty darn light.
Okay, so we're going to start out. I have my Spline Tool, which is basically what locks in your barrel so that you can do all of your work. You're going to take our upper and our barrel, mate the two. Notice I have a little bit of schlicking on there, just a little bit, just so we get a nice easy slide. Set that home. And then that locks into the actual spline in your barrel. But this supports your entire upper so that you can crank on your barrel nut without tweaking or twisting or doing anything to your upper, which makes it really sweet. Alright, so I'm going to start out with just putting a little bit of some Breakthrough Battleborn HP Pro.
He's going to put some oil on the threads. You could use some grease too if you wanted to.
I'm not going to put a whole lot. I just want to have something there so that I get a nice, smooth, even twist.
I'm sure people are going to
I'm going to spin this around just so you can see that's where your gas tube has to be able to line up to. And our suggested foot-pound rating for this nut is between 30 and 60 foot-pounds. So they have supplied us with this wrench that has the half-inch knockout so that you can actually use a torque wrench, not just a regular old armor's wrench.
Not just a German spec.
And we are going to show you how that works.
Although it is kind of a German spec as long as you don't over-tighten it.
Okay, so I'm going to take my torque wrench. I'm going to set it for 30 foot-pounds. That's the minimum. And then we are going to try to tighten this down to 30
Now you got to be sure to hold that square because you don't want to mess up your nut. I said nut.
Okay, so that's our first beep. We're at 30, so now we're going to back this off. We're going to see how we're lined up. And it looks like we're just past it. We're going to verify that just by taking our gas block, trying to line it up, and it won't go. So we're going to have to take this bad boy to 60, or to the next notch over. Alright, so we maxed out at 30, and our maximum is 60 foot-pounds. So I'm going to bring it up just a little bit. I'm going to set a 50 foot-pound threshold, see if I can just eyeball it and get it to where
Now 50 put us right
50 put us right in the middle. Then I don't think I've got enough to go 60. So I think I'm going to back it off and bring it somewhere in the middle of those two. Fresh. Okay, so I set the torque wrench at 35. That's going to put us like 5 pounds over their initial setting because we can go a maximum of 60. I don't think we're going to get that kind of window, but I'm going to try to shoot the eyeball down here. $24, $25, $26. Not at 30 yet, so 30. I'm just going to take a look. Just a little past. So let's go to the 35 till it beeps.
and then put you about in the middle.
Okay, so let's go 37. I really didn't move. I must have over torqued it. 42. So we got it. There we go. That looks pretty well lined up to me. Let's take our gas block and see if we can get that to go in. It does. Okay. So I have my original set screw marks for my gas block, which will help me align this. So I can just go by removing one, using a flashlight, taking a look at your alignment, make sure it's spot on, give this one just that. Snug that down.
Yeah, because sometimes they're not dimpled real good, so.
No. Make sure those are good and tight.
Yeah.
Yeah, das ist gut. Gas block's installed, barrel nuts installed. Now, we're just going to show you the install, so we're not going to actually go through and do the actual Loctite, but they're suggesting that we put Loctite on the knurled portion of the barrel nut to help lock it in place. Now there are these small indents right here that will lock into the barrel nut. So aligning it and getting it to slide in and lock in place, there's a little wiggle room in it. And we'll show you how to make sure that your rail is square to the top and the bottom.
Yep, your gas block helps align that, so...
And it works out really nice. I'm going to slide this off the spline tool and show you what that looks like. All around, you can see where they're actually interlocked into it. Right here, here, and on the back side. Turns out pretty...
You can see too that this is perfectly lined up.
Nice and flat. Now, we're going to pan back out and we're going to show you how to make sure that your rail stays flat. They suggest you take it, set it on a flat surface, push down on both sections, make sure that there's no rock, the whole thing's tipping back and forth. And again, they would suggest some Loctite on these bolts that go in the handrail here. I'm just going to start them and then we'll set it back up on its side to tighten those down.
They want you to torque them to 35
inch-pounds. So before we tighten it,
I was going for the dramatic pause there.
I got your 35 inch-pounds right here. Beep.
That's a
beep.
That's retarded.
Yeah, it is. Okay, so that's how we're going to install that portion. We're going to go back up here so that we can install our Sequence Precision flash hider, which is pretty aggressive looking, and it actually does catch flesh. You know. Again, fortunately for this one, a standard armor's wrench will do. The nice part is that there's no crush washer, there's no nothing, you just set that one right back to the shoulder. Okay, so just for some comparison stuff. Yeah. Okay, so this wasn't a completely total lightweight build, but this full-length handguard is really considerably lighter for the amount of real estate that you're getting. I'm just going to throw it all together real quick, and I've got a lower and a full-size
full auto bolt carrier
group. We're just going to slot this baby on here, and that's
one badass looking rail.
One badass rail.
Yeah, for its size, it weighs nothing. Yet have a ton of mounting locations for your slings.
Feels good in the hand. It's got a nice texture to it.
It's inch and a half in width.
Not real aggressive where you're gonna get chewed up with it. If you do want to do some 3-gun stuff or whatever you want to do with it, but I think it's really it's light for the length. And let's just throw it on a scale real quick and just see where we're at with it.
Yeah, it's just a mil-spec lower, and
tear this out. Flip her over. And that's 6 pounds, 10.6 ounces. I mean,
not
6
bad.
pounds. I mean, that's really not bad.
Mm-hmm. And for not going for a lightweight build, so.
Not for an ultra lightweight, but I mean, 6 pounds is not bad.
And this is the same rail that I chose for my SPR build, so. Except for I'm going to Cerakote the one I got, green. Looks badass, so what do you say we take this thing out to the range and run it through its paces?
Yeah, let's get some sights on it and let's go shoot this fucking thing.
Hey, we'll see you guys down the road.
See you around, guys.